I recognize myself to introduce our next witness, Mr. Fred Flippence. Fred Flippence is the general manager of Harney Electric Cooperative and is the current president of the Oregon Rural Electric Cooperative Association. In his capacity as general manager of the Harney Electric Cooperative, he deals with a host of ESA-related issues, including the effects of golden eagle critical habitat, sage-grouse habitat conservation, and costs associated with conservation of salmon in the Columbia River Basin. Mr. Flippence, welcome to the subcommittee. You are now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you. Chairman Bench, Ranking Member Huffman, and members of the subcommittee. My name is Fred Flippence, and I am the General Manager of Harney Electric Cooperative, which provides electricity to communities in Oregon and Nevada. I'm here today on behalf of the Oregon and Nevada Co-op statewide associations, as well as the NRECA, in support of HJ Resolution 46. I want to thank Chairman Bench, who is my congressman, for the opportunity to testify. I also want to send greetings to one of Oregon's newest House members, Congresswoman Val Hoyle, for her service on this important committee for Oregonians. I'd like to offer a perspective on how Endangered Species Act, the ESA, and the associated designation of critical habitat affects the ability of the electric cooperatives to provide affordable, reliable power. Harney Electric serves over 20,000 square miles in southeast Oregon and rural Nevada and has very low customer density, averaging less than 1 member per 16 square miles. To put our territory in context, we serve 1,232 members in an area only slightly smaller than the state of West Virginia. The federal government manages 75% of the land mass in our territory. The BLM has a large presence in our area, along with 2 national wildlife refuges. Our membership is made up of ranching and farming communities. We also have a significant Native American population. The logging industry used to be the heart and soul of Harney County. Our headquarters is across the street from an old mill that used to employ most of the people in Harney County. However, shifting federal policies, such as the listing of the northern spotted owl, led to the closure of mills across our state. In some ways, our community has never recovered, as 47% of the population of Harney County still lives below the poverty line. Harney Electric is a full requirements customer of the Bonneville Power Administration, BPA, which markets wholesale electric power from 31 federal hydroelectric dams in the Northwest. BPA funds hundreds of projects each year to benefit the ESA-listed species and to mitigate the impacts of the federal hydropower system on fish and wildlife in the Columbia River Basin. Decisions to protect the habitat come at a serious cost. 30 cents of every dollar of our power bill goes to fish mitigation on the Columbia River system. This cost will continue to increase. The total annual cost for BPA's Fish and Wildlife Program next year is projected to be $852 million. While we remain committed to fulfilling our fish and wildlife obligations, we will continue to seek proper sharing of these costs. We cannot have an open-ended obligation on customers that struggle to pay their electricity bills. There is also an ongoing campaign to remove the lower Snake River dams, which would not guarantee increased salmon survivability, but it would harm our communities, increase carbon emissions, and enhance the likelihood of blackouts in our region. It is an understatement to say that it is a challenge running a frontier utility that has multiple species in our territory. In 2014, we had to push back on BLM's proposal to protect the sage-grouse habitat that would have required Harney Electric to relocate or underground several hundred miles of transmission and distribution line at a cost of $400 million. Our greatest concern was the lack of economic analysis. The answer to this question was, it would have bankrupted my co-op. Even without this draconian level of mitigation to protect the sage-grouse, it is undeniable that projects are delayed because of habitat decisions. For instance, our easement came up for renewal on the Malheur Refuge, and it was declined by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service because they did not want power lines on the refuge. I had to explain the electricity from these power lines serves their headquarters, their fish weirs, and their irrigation on the refuge. We have a similar situation where a renewable geothermal project is being held up because of an abandoned golden eagle nest. We do not believe a golden eagle has been there in 20 years, but we are required to wait through the golden eagle breeding season to see if eagles will reclaim the nest. We hope the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service will deem this nest abandoned and the project can resume. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Thank you.
Thank you for being here.